What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Good morning. How's everybody doing? You guys hear me and see me? Let me know in the chat here on YouTube. Welcome in from France. Camille, welcome in. Dan, good morning. Heaven, good morning. All good, appreciate that. Go Trades in the house. Nice to see you, man. Appreciate that, guys. So, a lot going on. Volatility is back already here this morning. Volatility is back. So we'll briefly go through the game plan here this morning. I think Trump is speaking right now too, live on Fox, so we got to watch out for that. I think as far as I'm tracking, NFP data is pushed, not coming out tomorrow. Give me 1 second, guys. Technical difficulties already here this morning. All right. Order flow indicator on TradingView. I don't know. TradingView is not really a great order flow trading tool. All right, so we'll get into the analysis here, guys. But first, a couple shout outs to our sponsors here, Prop Firm Trader, as well as Apex. You can check out the discount codes there if you guys would like to use the discount codes. We will have giveaways coming up today. We've got a few to give away. Let me just double check on that. Yeah, we've got Apex account, Alpha Capital account, and a 3-month TradeZella account. So huge one there. NFP is Wednesday, next Wednesday. NFP typically comes out on Fridays. I know stuff got shifted around with the government shutdown stuff. We had the ADP news on Wednesday, which is the ADP NFP release, kind of the precursor. Volume delta range, what? All right, I'll try to get through you guys' questions throughout the stream, try to make it educational. I'm typically on Fridays. If you didn't notice, Marco's typically today. We got the old switcheroo going today. Sorry about that last minute switch. But you guys are stuck with me today, unfortunately. Marco will be on tomorrow. But we'll go through analysis and everything together here today. I typically trade the S&P and NASDAQ futures and options, primarily the S&P, and I look at the NASDAQ as well. I've been trading the NASDAQ more frequently recently. So it just kind of depends on the setup, relative strength or weakness, whatever, where the setup looks better. But primarily S&P and NASDAQ, if you guys aren't aware, if you don't normally tune into my streams. So go through some analysis here. Look at the 4-hour chart. I like to go through and check out the higher time frames first. on ES and NQ. I typically go through the weekly, daily, and 4-hour charts every day, and then I start going through more narrowly on my lower time frame charts and volume profiles to look for the specific setups that I want to look for. So you can see clearly, looking at ES here over the last few days, we've been putting in lower highs. Sellers have been pretty aggressive since we resisted this last key area. I have traded the downside the last 2 days now, actually all week, because I swung puts Monday into Tuesday, then more puts Tuesday, yesterday, Wednesday, yesterday, and then today we have extended the downside again already in the pre-market, which makes things a little tricky for us. The Bank of England, oh, sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. Appreciate that in the comments. Thanks, guys. Sorry. So looking at my, screens here. We resisted this area twice on ES. This is a 4-hour chart on ES. All right, we'll go through ES first. You can see we've been making lower highs here, and we've already rejected pretty aggressively in the pre-market here. What came out this morning? We had Bank of England Fed rate decision come out. They did just basically held rates the same. I also saw on some intel pages that I track that Iran IRGC boarded and took some oil tankers, which is not ideal for peace talks with Iran. So I saw those headlines coming out around the same time as the Bank of England Fed decision rate this morning. So I'm not sure at what time that happened, but if those headlines came out, that could have also added negative kind of tailwinds, pushing the market down, headwinds, I guess you could say, for the market. But at any rate, just looking at this higher time frame, this is a key level of support that I've been watching. You can see just looking at the 4-hour chart how this level continued to act as like a pivotal spot of support and resistance above and below. And then after consolidating here, this was the last time we formed a nice area, basing area that we rallied out of. We've pulled back into it once, not quite twice, 3 times. This is the 4th time we've now dipped down into this area, taking out lows. ES has been relatively stronger than NQ. We'll talk about NQ in a second. But basically, I'm watching this area between roughly like 60s to 20s, 68.60 to 68.20 on ES as kind of a key demand area. So I want to be cautious chasing shorts to the downside into there. I'd rather find pops to short if we get that and use this area as a target, or if we drop down into here, base either today or tomorrow and shift structure back to the upside and hold like a higher low, then I'll possibly be looking for like a demand zone bottom reversal here, targeting potentially prior highs in the short term. Does that make sense? Let me pull up the Chart Fanatics Discord. If you guys are not already in there, that's a great free resource. If you guys would like to review the screenshots for the game plan and stuff, I'll drop them in the Matt Owen channel there in the Chart Fanatics Discord. Now you can see the other scenario is, and I'll talk about this more on the volume profiles here. Let me clean this up a little bit. Don't like all this. Right. So you can see we already had a pretty extended breakdown now after consolidating here and breaking prior lows. There's some key areas in here that are of interest. If we continue to see pops fail into here where aggressive sellers defend, then I'll be looking for opportunities to probably go short and then use this demand zone as a target if we continue to see exceptional weakness today. What's up, Samir Trades FX? Welcome in. No latte this morning. No, I was in a rush. I already had one early this morning. I already took some trade, or took a trade in the pre-market. Actually, on NQ, I saw the volatility coming in hot when I was coming in to do my analysis already early this morning. So I already scalped a few points on NQ this morning. Where is it? this thing has just been going nuts. When we broke the initial low of day, I saw a nice surge of buying come in, and I scalped it to the long side for a quick 25 points on NQ. Just a quick little scalp. You guys want to see that? I can review that here. We got a few minutes till the market opens. Let's finish going through analysis, and then if we have time, we'll come back to that. So that's the setup that I'm watching for the downside to the upside. If we do drop in here and we consolidate, I really don't want to be like a first buyer in here, right? This is a better target for shorts. If we just continue to smoke down into there, I'm just going to let it develop. I don't want to chase shorts at the lows. I'll let it develop. If we do form a nice basing with some really strong absorption and really strong buying down there, then I may be interested once we shift structure back to the upside. Momentum is back to the upside to long pullbacks and possibly target some key areas in here or prior highs. Yeah, pretty bearish day overall. So let me pull up NQ really quick. But that main area that I'm watching there is around 68.60s to 68.20s. We've already gotten a pretty decent bounce off of it this morning. So we've already kind of gotten a bounce off there that failed, right? We bounced from the 68.50s all the way back up into the 68.80s, which is a key spot I'll talk about here in just a moment. So we already got a nice bounce from there that failed. So that could be some telling information. So you can see on NQ here, we were kind of holding this trend line, higher lows. And then we tried to hold it one last time yesterday, and it got absolutely blasted here this morning. Yesterday it got absolutely blasted. And then on the break and retest of that, we held a retest there as well, continuation down. So NQ is exceptionally relatively weaker than ES. And if it just continues to trade straight down today, it may be a scenario where I just don't have a trade set up. Oftentimes these crazy days where it just trades straight down or straight up all day without any real retracements or anything, unfortunately, those are often days that I just sit cash and stay back and wait for an opportunity. But at any rate, the next area that I really see is this area where we had this prior consolidation here, especially because this was the first area after this large sell-off back in November. We had this really aggressive sell-off, right? This was the first area where we recovered. We formed a nice basing period and then rallied aggressively out of that. And that had held. What is going on? Oh, that one. This had previously held multiple, just drawing that there. This had previously held multiple higher lows above it since that happened. So that one there, that one there. Now we're coming back into it with a pretty heavy drop, but I'm watching this area roughly around 24.6 to 24.8 on NQ. This is a key area to watch, similar to that area around 68.40 to 68.20 on ES. Right, both of those are key areas of demand, in my opinion, from my analysis. Now, that does not mean we're just going to drop in there and I'm going to take the market long. We're already trading in there very exceptionally weak, right? That I want to be clear. Like, just because we drop into there does not mean I'm taking the market long. If anything, right now, it was just a better target area for shorts if we were in shorts already. Or if we get any retracements today before we test in there, that will be interesting. But we're just continuing to see just significant weakness. So here's my 30-minute chart with the volume profile on ES, and this is where we can start looking at more specific setups. You can see over the last couple days, we've consolidated towards the lows, which just shows we've continued to have weakness. Pops have continued to fail. look at the point of controls there. Here, 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 shifting lower, right? So specifically what I was watching this morning, before this breakdown, when we had this consolidation period here, right around that point of control from yesterday, where we had this close yesterday, we had this nice balance range form this morning. We already broke down that balance range pretty aggressively. So once I see that happen, and this is similar to the setup that I took yesterday, we had a very similar thing happen yesterday, and I shorted retests yesterday morning, or I took puts, SPY puts yesterday on the retest into that balance range yesterday morning. Then we had that nice sell-off into the target. Similar structure forming here, right? We have this consolidation range we already broke down, and we left this area here of low volume that I'm watching out for, this low volume node. But this is what I was talking about a minute ago, where I said we already kind of retested it. So we have this nice low volume node here where sellers were really aggressive. We broke down this prior consolidation range, but you can see, unfortunately, this was my probably top A+ setup today, and I did not take it. Now it's in the, was getting, you can see that little wick there. We retested that range right there. Barely got into it and rejected, pretty stiff rejection there. And now we're breaking down this next consolidation area. So if we manage to get any impulsive pops up here, and I see significant rejection from sellers here, then I'll be interested in shorts, again, targeting a break of the lows into this key like 60 to 20 demand area, kind of using as a target. This is ES, again, 30-minute chart volume profile. Now, if we drop down into here and we consolidate and we form, a significant amount of absorption, a significant amount of aggressive buying, and we shift structure, then I may be interested in using this area here as a target for longs. And if we, get strong back above there and fill in that low volume node and a major reversal is coming, then, we could use prior highs of this consolidation range as a target for longs. What I'm not super interested in today is if the bottom just continues to fall out and we just trade straight down and I just don't really have any good areas to get involved, then I'm likely just going to sit out, right? So if we just trade straight down today and it's just super weak and there's just no retracements that look like good opportunities to get involved, then I'll probably just sit out. Let's take a look at NQ. Very similar structure here on NQ. Actually, NQ is starting to hold a higher low this morning, and ES is still breaking down. But very similarly, we see this area of consolidation right around that point of control from yesterday. We left, so this area here, right? And we aggressively broke that down already. We left this kind of area here of low volume. This is where aggressive sellers broke down these prior lows. We already kind of retested it there, right? But things that I'd be watching out for this morning is if we do manage to pop back into there and sellers aggressively reload, I'll be looking to reload shorts, targeting a break of the lows. And on the flip side, if buyers recapture above here, that could be an opportunity to look for longs and target a break back over this consolidation highs or back into these sellers from yesterday. Now, if we just kind of trade straight down from here off the open, there's not much there that I really want to trade right now. All right, so that was a quick overview on the game plan here this morning. Let me check. You guys got any questions? Let me know in the chat. I do pretty much. Somebody asked a good question. Do I look at SPY when I trade SPY, or do I primarily look at ES and NQ? I primarily continue to just do my analysis on ES and NQ. I do look at SPY and SPX as well, especially for gauging like where I want to get, what strike price I want to get on options, and the key levels around there. But the majority of my analysis is on the futures on ES and NQ. One more point that I didn't bring up is VX. VX is pretty strong, and this was part of my reasoning where I started positioning myself in puts on Monday at the highs. That I've pretty much been in puts all week. Is at the same time, ES and NQ on Monday were testing key areas of resistance. I have this key kind of support and resistance area around 18 to 17 and a half that I've been watching on VX. And you can see we got down in here and held. Once we got down in here and held, this is where I started swinging puts from Monday and Tuesday. So puts on SPY. Should have taken them on QQQ because it was relatively weak, but that's okay. They still paid. So now that we're rallying above here, I don't. This is going to continue to add significant pressure on ES and NQ. However, we have this area which you can just see right here around just over 20, where we've rejected, 1, 2, kind of 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So this is going to be key for a continued downside, in my opinion. Is we're going to need to see VX break out over this and hold over this. That will continue to add pressure on the indices. We've already dropped to those areas of demand on ES and NQ. So if VX is unable and we again reject off this 20 area back in, that's going to take a lot of pressure off, and ES and NQ are going to have an easier time bouncing off this key area of demand down here. What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning, Gavin. So you can see, looking at the order flow now, the market's about to open. We're still kind of moving sideways in this range. ES and NQ are still trying to defend. We've already kind of extended this drop into this key area. And this was a significant order here just after 9 a.m. What's your view on commodity trading halted on Apex and Top Step? Trade a personal account. Where is Marco? Marco, not sure. Marco wasn't able to make it today. So I am covering down today. Marco will be on stream tomorrow. So let's watch what develops here, guys. A lot of aggressive selling. Wow, my bookmap is delayed. That's not ideal. significantly delayed. Sorry guys, I'm having to look at my footprint here. This is not good. Give me a second. Let me restart Bookmap here. Massive selling coming in. Sometimes this helps. Well, what's going on here? Large buying just came in. I'm long ES at 68.39. A huge amount of buying just came in. Sorry guys, I'm looking at my footprint chart here. Data is dead on I took the risk off. I'm going break even at 39. I like this huge amount of buying come in. I'm just looking for this to sweep back over the 50s. If it comes back and sweeps out my entry, I'll look to buy again. I'm out break even. It just got me to the tick there. Kind of dead in the water here without Bookmap and trying to look at my footprint chart. Oh my gosh, now it's bouncing. I did not get a re-entry. This is not ideal, guys, trying to battle this Bookmap issue and trade at the same time. So I saw this significant amount of buying came in here, and I took it long at 39s. I trailed break even immediately. Just seeing that buying come in. We'll see. Once it came back here, I thought it would sweep back a little deeper and I would take it again, but it did not. So I'm still watching. It's a little tricky to watch it just on footprint chart without Bookmap, at least for me. Try to restart this again. See if we get another dip back here. How's NQ looking? Nice aggressive buying coming in on NQ as well here. I'm watching this pullback on NQ. Wow, this thing is going berserk. Testing this low volume area just under 24,800 on NQ. See if it recaptures above. Is Bookmap alive yet? Let's see. All right, we're seeing the support here on ES and NQ. Let's see if we get a pullback. Sorry guys, this thing is moving at lightning speed and I'm trying to get Bookmap fixed here and trying to watch my footprint chart here on NQ and ES. I'll get back to the comments. I'm looking for a pullback here. I like how we're still back. We're back above that 60 area. We kind of supported that dip into that 60 to 20 area that I talked about on ES. We supported that dip into there and now we're recapturing. So I'm looking for pullbacks on both ES and NQ now. Probably targeting that low volume area that I talked about from the overnight selling. VX is also rejecting the 20.5 area that I talked about in the pre-market. I don't know. Bookmap is just dead. Rhythmic is dead on me. Let's see, somebody asked, do I trade crypto or no? Not really. Not really. Primarily just S&P and NASDAQ futures and options. This tape is moving fast, guys. Definitely recommend watching your position size and keeping your risk consistent. So if you normally trade with a certain position size, you would probably need to reduce that to compensate for the amount of volatility that we're having. Likely, you're going to need a wider stop on positions. So I took a long attempt on ES and stopped break even. Unfortunately, it got me right before this rip started. Now I'm looking for a pullback. I mean, this is just almost comical. Look, that was, I'll show you guys what I liked and why I took it. I think I was a little tight on the trigger managing it there because I moved my wrist to break even because I was taking my eyes off the charts. I was trying to get my book map fixed. So as soon as price bounced here, right, there's the trade. I liked how he dipped into that zone and I saw significant selling get absorbed right there. Significant selling got absorbed right there. So I tried it long. And then once we broke out here, you know, I was up like 10 points. I moved my wrist to break even so I could take my eyes away and try to get my book map fixed. And as soon as I did that, came back, stopped me break even to the tick and then launched. So I don't even know what to say about that. Trying to run a stream, fix a book map issue, and take a trade all at the same time. There's a little pullback there. Trying to get book map started again. What in the world? Give me a second, guys. There we go. Holy cow, book map is back. Goodness. Volatility was so intense it just killed my rhythmic data. All right, let's see what in the heck's going on here. I'm primarily a tape reader, right? And Bookmap is my preferred tool. I use footprint charts as well, but this is definitely my preferred tool. I feel a little blind trying to analyze the market without it. There we go. Unfortunately, we just got one pullback that held just above 55.60 area, and that was one of them that I was looking for. Let's see what happens here. I like this momentum we're building to the upside. So as far as targets, I'm looking at 68.90 to 6,900. Just a huge amount of aggressive buying coming in. If we squeeze this high, I just don't see anything right here. We're going like straight to 68.90, 6,900. This thing is going to launch. If this aggressive buying continues to hit at these 68.79s, 80s and breaks over this, I don't see anything in the way from this exploding through this low volume area and going back to 68.90 to 6,900. Now, sellers could reload in that 68.90 to 6,900 area. So we got to watch out for that. That's why it's a target area. It's been a while since I've seen a day that was this volatile, to be honest with you guys. So trying to manage this technical issue and the stream, and I don't know, massive increase in volatility from what we've seen. Yeah, we're going to be doing giveaways, guys, but we got action going on right now. Who cares about that? Let's watch the chart. We will be doing giveaways. I mentioned earlier in the stream, we've got Apex account, Alpha Capital account, and TradeZella 3-month account to give away. So check that out. If you guys are going to be staying tuned for the giveaways, if you guys are going to be staying tuned for the giveaways, make sure you're in the Chart Fanatics Discord so you can claim it. That's where you'll need to claim it. Just cannot even get a little pullback here. I like how this bid popped up here at the 69s. Yeah. Smash the like. I'm watching the likes on the stream, so if you guys want to run the giveaways, smash the likes on the vid, on the stream. What are you guys trading? Let me know in the chat. Are you guys trading ES or NQ or both? Wow. Large sweep there of aggressive buying. Looks like it got bought right now. Sorry, large sweep of aggressive selling got bought. See what happens. See what the market's reaction is to that. NQ, ES, gold. How's gold? Is gold going berserk, guys? I'm not looking at gold. Is gold going berserk right now or what? I kind of like that sweep there if this holds from buyers. All right, here we're getting a pullback now. Some aggressive buying coming straight in on that pullback. See if we get a little fake out dip under these lows that holds. I'm trying this long here at 70. Have a stop just under about 67 here. I like that little fake out dip under those prior lows. Looking for a bounce up into the 68.90s. There we go. Risk is going break even, just above break even at 70.75. No reason to hold this for a loss now. We're getting the break of those highs that I was looking for after that little fake out dip. So I like this little consolidation here, a little liquidity sweep. Got bought by passive buyers. Now we're surging back up. I'm looking for this to pump into around 90. We have this low volume area here. It's already up, you know, almost 10 points. I'm not going to hold this for red. So if this comes back and takes me out, that's just unfortunate. break even and a hard stop set. It was a good trade, good idea. It just got stuffed there. Aggressive buyers got absorbed by the passive seller and rejected right back down. So very wiki here. Did not get a continuation on that momentum that I was looking for. That's okay. 2 break evens now. That one was up like 10 points too. It's quite frustrating. I'm still watching it here if this dip gets supported, but it's just looking weaker and weaker here. What's NQ looking like? NQ has a nice little low volume area around 2865. It could get a bounce off here. I liked that dip back on NQ. I took that at 67 on ES. I mean, took that at 67 on ES. But I would like to see it hold above 64. If we can't, then I'm gonna have to cut it. Out. Took it out there. Couple point loss. Yeah, I think Apex is at 50% right now. So maybe we'll get a deeper pullback now into that demand zone. This sucker is moving lightning fast though. Coming back into that 60 to 20 range that I talked about from earlier. So we'll see what happens here. But I'll be honest, I don't like how we already dipped into this range, attempted to squeeze into that area at the highs that I talked about, and failed. That's not ideal. We'll see if it holds a higher low or double bottom here, but I don't really like how we had that aggressive pop already off this demand area. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here on both ES and NQ. And it's coming all the way back. That's not ideal. Yeah, we have some news coming out at 10 a.m. in just a couple minutes here now, guys. All the way back to that zone on ES, starting to see some really aggressive buying coming in. Yeah, we got news coming out. 2 minutes. We'll watch this. Again, guys, smash the like if you guys want to run the giveaways. Let's see, what are we at? What are we at? Wow, look at that. Look at that absorption coming in there. Massive negative delta hit. We'll see if that just completely saturates and breaks through and puts all these buyers in pain, or if that holds. This is that same area from earlier. Look at that. I'm not trying to catch it here. Not with the news coming out. I'm just watching. Are we not getting the news, or are we getting the news? Let's see here. I guess we'll see. I'm not in any positions right now, so we'll see. So strong drop here again. We'll see if this makes a double bottom here, or if sellers really take control. Large negative delta overall on the day as well. I don't really want to chase shorts at the lows, like I said. We'll see. We kind of started to form that demand bounce off this zone, but we came into that resistance area that we were looking for and failed. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if it gets defended again in this 20 to 60 area on ES or not. It's looking pretty darn weak now, especially since we already retested that area from earlier and failed. VX is back up over 20 and a half. Saw some large aggressive buying hit the lows here. You see that? I'm not trying to catch that long just yet. It's exceedingly weak, and we already rejected off the highs. Still seeing some aggressive buying coming in here, though, at these lows, which is interesting. Interesting to see a lot of people coming in aggressively buying at these lows. Just looking at my cumulative delta on this range between like 33 and 40. A large amount of aggressive buying coming in there. Which one could just be a lot of people that are aggressively trying to buy the dip, and they could continue to get smushed as more aggressive selling takes over. Then they're going to have to stop. That could start another panic drop. Or if it recaptures above and we continue to hold this 20 to 60 range on ES and get back above, that could start a reversal today. Taking a look around the charts here, guys. VX is at 20.6, right at that resistance area that we talked about. ES is in that demand area that we're watching out for. Interestingly, at least right now, NQ, which has been relatively weaker, is right now a little bit holding higher from the low we made earlier this morning. ES is kind of already breaking it. So what's interesting is it looks like ES is leading a bit lower, which has not been the case the last few days. NQ has been leading substantially lower ahead of ES. Just observing, not like a huge divergence or anything that I'm like, okay, I'm taking a trade off of. I'm just noticing that kind of for the first time this week, ES is kind of leading a bit lower while NQ is. Delta hitting again. Yeah, it's hard to say because you don't want to just see a large delta and go against the downside pressure that we've seen so far, right? We don't want to catch an ultimate bottom here. I liked this back before, once we basically had already dipped into this range over here, and then we can't really see it because this is when my book map went dead, but we recaptured above it with some really large buying. That looked more interesting to me, to go target a break of these highs and basically a short squeeze against all these pre-market sellers back up into 6,900. That looked good initially, but it got rejected hard. So I took that idea on the chin, and now I'm just sitting back, right? It looked a lot different here when we dipped into that demand area, held above it with aggressive buying, and then got back over these highs here. Was looking for that to squeeze back up into 6,900. Did not occur. Got absorbed by passive sellers again here and rejected strongly back down. So that is important context to be like, okay, not necessarily ideal to be trying to catch an absolute bottom here in this demand area now. Yeah, we will do the giveaways here in a second, guys. What are the likes at? What are the likes at? It's kind of, it was in an area that I was looking to be very active if something happened, but now it's kind of dropping back to the lows with a lot of weakness where it's like, I'm not really interested in chasing it to the downside personally. 150, can we get 170? Need to run this like an auction. 170 likes, we'll run some giveaways, guys. This is interesting, like looking at this drop down, like zoomed out here on Bookmap. Look at that aggressive buying that's come into the lows. Too easy, over 170. Let's go. All right, guys. So let me check if the team is ready. One second. All right. So enter one time and one time only in the chat here. Exclamation point order flow. If you enter it multiple times, you will not be selected. So exclamation point order flow one time only in the chat here. And we will see. We've got 3 giveaways. We've got the Apex account, we've got the Alpha Capital account, and we've got TradeZella 3-month account. So that's sick. So far, it's looking like this aggressive buying is not sustaining. It's still getting crushed down here. Give it just 1 minute, guys, and then we're going to close it. Again, exclamation point order flow, one time only in the chat, and we'll have these giveaways. We're coming all the way down to the low of that range that I was watching, down into the 68.20s now. So pretty weak. All right, guys, we're going to close it now. Let's close it, Anthony. All right, guys, so it's closed. I'm going to get the list, and we can run this. Taking a look back around at some 4-hour charts here, guys. All right. Got the list. Let's run the first one. Make sure you guys are paying attention, because we're not going to wait forever if you're not here. Let's watch this. Abel Ismail 685. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Man, look at the selling. Just relentless coming in here. Breaking down now. Absolutely relentless. Is he in here, guys? Give him just a minute. All right, removing. He is here. All right, so there you go. Abel, make sure you go into the Chart Fanatics Discord, into the giveaways tab to claim that. Next one, God of GC. God of GC, let me know, are you here? Wow, look at the, that's some different buying coming in now. Jeez. Some massive buying coming in. God of GC, is he here? There he is. Congratulations, man. So you've won the 3-month TradeZella account. Again, check out the Chart Fanatics Discord and the giveaways tab to claim that. Trader JDK Lee, are you in the chat? Trader JDK Lee. There he is. Congratulations. Again, head into the Chart Fanatics Discord to claim that under the giveaways tab. So we're starting to see a shift here after taking out just under the lows of that 68.20. Shift being just a significant amount of buying coming in. This would be kind of a key area for these buyers that came into these lows. Between where this passive bid started filling to this low that we made and then this aggressive buying that came in after. Near term, that would be key. Take a look at my volume profile. When volume spikes out of nowhere, do you trust it or side-eye it? It just depends on the situation, really. It depends on the location and the situation. Right now, I'm just being very patient to see what develops here. I do like this buying if it supports above this box now. We came and took all the way out the lows of that prior swing low, around 68, 15, and 20 at the low of that kind of demand area that I was watching. It's tough to chase short here, but if buyers support this, it could set up an opportunity. It's kind of tough either way, though. It's tough to go against such strong downside momentum at this point to catch a bottom. It's also tough to chase it just in terms of risk versus reward. Chasing it to the downside here is difficult. Buyers are certainly trying. Yeah, that's for sure. I like how it's kind of holding into this dip here, but need to see a substantial reaction from these aggressive buyers. I just took that on NQ. I like the dip and recapture there of that 24,600 area. I'm trailing break. I'm break even now. It shot like a moonshot off my entry there, but I don't like how it just rejected at VWAP. So I might be straight back out of this thing. Yep, I'm out. Watching for it to re-enter, but that was unfortunate. It shot like a moonshot off my entry there and then came right back on me break even. That's the third time today I've tried to catch a setup, a similar setup to that, and gotten caught break even. So that might be a wrap for me. I liked how ES was holding that zone at the same time NQ was. I should have probably taken profit on the sweep of those highs into VWAP there. I was up 50 points. Still watching it, but if we don't hold this zone, definitely not trying to catch a bottom here. I want to see aggressive buyers hold a location like this and then hold a retest. I'm not trying to be the first one to buy it on the dip. Some strong buying coming back in again. Kind of made a lower high though there with weaker buying right at the high of that pop. All right, let's check out. You guys got any questions? What's happening on Euro USD? I don't look at Euro USD. I don't look at Forex. So I'm watching this demand area here, but honestly, it's looking like one of those days where we just keep crushing through. We just keep crushing through. I've tried to catch it a couple times now. I took a small loss and a few break evens. So, and then in multiple of those break evens was up like 10 points on ES and 50 points on NQ, and both of them came back on me. So I'm happy with my risk management in terms of I didn't let those good entries that generated a nice pop, I didn't let them go red on me. But it is very frustrating to be up 10 points on ES, go back to break even, be up 50 points on NQ, go back to break even. Trying to catch it at some of these key areas. It's like one of those days where we just keep crushing lower. Demand area is not holding, so probably not a good idea to keep trying. It happens sometimes. We saw all of this aggressive buying come into the lows here, which is what made it interesting. We just took out the lows under where that aggressive buying came in, though. Interesting. Look at that. Did you see how that offer just came in there again and rejected? So on this aggressive pop there, an offer came back in to sell at 68.16 there. So we again had this aggressive selling into the lows, and buyers tried to buy that again. And then look at how this passive seller came in there at the 16s. Do you see that? Again, aggressive buyers had come in this range all this time. We just broke under it, and they tried to come in again and got shut down by this passive seller here. You can see exactly where price rejected on ES there, where this passive seller came in at 68.16. And this also, looking at this zone that we're seeing this activity here on order flow, is aligning right at that prior swing low on SPY around 677. On ES, I think we also had where is ES? Yeah, we had that prior swing low here right around 68.13, which we're just flirting right around right now. So 68.13 is here. So we're seeing all of this interesting activity right at that last major swing low, which was from January 21st. So we definitely see a tug of war battle going on here. We've sold off all this way, but buyers are not wanting to give up this last major swing low, and sellers are trying to break it down. So real-time major tug of war going on here. Nope, I did not. Institutional trading order flow, I did not. I was looking for us to squeeze above that back up into 6,900, and I got caught on it. In hindsight, yeah, that was on my game plan, was to look for a rejection there too. But I still like how this aggressive buying is trying to come in and defend this low here. The problem is it's just going massively against the momentum that we've built. It would be better for this to kind of consolidate for a while, build a significant amount of absorption, and really shift structure either later today or going into tomorrow. I honestly, I would be more likely to go long with this aggressive buying here than continue to short. I'm still looking at it because I like the amount of aggressive, like zoom out on the day here on Bookmap, right? Look at the massive amount of aggressive buying that's coming into the lows here. That's very interesting, especially right at that demand area under that last major swing low from January 21st. It's kind of a do or die area for bulls here, to be honest. It's kind of a do or die area, and they're definitely trying. It's just lacking continuation. Sellers have just been relentless. Sellers have been for sure just absolutely relentless. So we're seeing the effort here. We're seeing a major effort here from buyers. The problem is it's just not getting follow through, and the sellers are just way stronger. They're just continuing to crush lower. Look at that, actually, no. Look at that. Wow. So just massive sellers are just continuing to stay in control under these lows. And we see the attempt from buyers to buy the dip under those prior lows, but it's just not been enough. It's just not been enough. And VX is, over 21 now. We were looking at that resistance area around 20 and a half, I think it was. So we're seeing just massive buying attempting here at the lows, massive aggressive buying attempting here at the lows. It's just exceedingly weak, and sellers have been continuing to defend. And despite the aggressive buying coming into the lows here, we need to see follow through on that like breaks structure back towards the upside. We need to see buyers really like tip the scales back onto their side. And right now, despite the attempt here, like we can see all the aggressive buying here, it's just been continuing to be laid into by aggressive sellers and passive sellers. And this is kind of that scenario that I said, if we just continue to just crush lower all day with very little pops, then I'll probably just sit out of it and not try to fight it. Obviously don't want to try to fight the momentum, but at the same time, I also don't want to just like chase the downside here. So it's one of those things where if you were positioned, like when a large drop like this happens, if you're positioned in it, great. But the risk versus reward of chasing the move down, not ideal for me. And also the probability of trying to catch the absolute bottom on it, like once we've seen that fail, like we gave it a chance, right? Came into a demand area, saw some aggressive buying, gave it a chance. But the information the market has continued to tell us is just that it's not been enough, right? We just continue to see the aggressive sellers stay in control. So if and when, right? So if and when, kind of what we started to see develop this morning, which is why I started to like it. Let me draw a snip here. If we break under this area and hold, I'm not interested. But if and when today or tomorrow, if we see, all this aggressive buying actually hold structure and then we shift structure to the upside like I talked about, right? And then on pullbacks, we start seeing smaller and weaker selling hold above that. That will be more interesting. But right now, every time, even seeing this aggressive buying come in, we're really just struggling to shift structure anywhere, right? We're seeing that come in. And then even when I zoomed in there, we saw on the heat map how on that little pop, a passive seller came in and rejected it right back down, right? So those passive sellers are kind of relentlessly, passive and aggressively, relentlessly defending against these aggressive buyers here. But it's kind of at a point where it's like, do you want to chase an extended move to the downside under prior lows? That can work sometimes, right? On these less frequent days where we just trade all day in one direction, that can happen, and it does happen. But that's not really a setup that I look for personally, right? Because more often than not, we bounce, at least a strong relief bounce off those type of moves. So if and when we start to actually shift structure off a demand area, then I'll start looking at it again. But until then, you know, we need to see follow through from these aggressive buyers. Beats, we already ran the giveaways, brother. We already ran the giveaways. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna wait until structure shifts like that, especially since I kind of already took a few break evens and a small loss. So especially after I was already up, you know, like I said, 50 points, 10 points on ES, 50 points on NQ. It was already up multiple times on those attempts, trailed my risk, and they came back, right? That just happens sometimes. Not fun, but it happens sometimes. That's part of trading. But that's what I'm watching for going into the rest of the day and into tomorrow, if we actually shift structure from aggressive buyers here. And we're continuing to see just a massive amount of aggressive buying coming in, right? That's actually the largest of the day now. Look at the, so these are delta bubbles, right? Look at this whole range down here. Look at the amount of aggressive buying coming in. It's a lot. But it has not sustained to shift structure yet. Yeah, part of trading is also making money. Really, yeah, but that's not the goal, right? The goal is not to make money. The goal is to just follow a system of processes for your trading system, repeatable trade setups, right? And making money is just a byproduct of that over time, right? So yeah, so this, what I'm looking at here is basically a visualization of the time and sales in level 2, basically on Bookmap, right? It's the real-time orders as they come into the market. And the green and red bubbles I have configured to show me the delta, the difference between aggressive buyers and sellers. Yep. The making money aspect of trading is just a byproduct of following repeatable trade setups and being very systematic with your risk management, being very systematic and repeatable with your trade setups, right? And the making money aspect is just a byproduct of that. If you're focused on making money every day, every trade, you're gonna probably just lose a lot of money over time. Every time you try to go long during Trump era, it's always against me. And when you try to go short, it's against me a day or two and then goes my way. Hey, figure out patterns that are working for you for the setups. You know, if you're tracking your data well and you figure out, you know, the setups that are working for you, eliminate the things that are not working, right? If you're frequently getting stopped on your setups and then it works, right? Look for the setup and wait for the stop loss that would have hit and then wait for it to recapture and then take the setup, right? You know, that kind of thing actually works sometimes, right? You figure out what are you doing wrong, and if you focus on figuring out what you're doing wrong and eliminating that, a lot of times you start figuring out things that do work. How do I get gold on my book map? You have to have the COMEX data. It's not really showing up here. I just added this the other day, to be honest with you, because I was trying to start watching it, and I haven't figured out how to set it up or configure it or anything yet. So here is some massive buying that's shifting structure. I would watch this now. I would watch this. Massive amount of buying. Look at that. We've been seeing it this whole time, like it's just been building and building, right? We'll see if this continues to fail though, or if selling on pullbacks is now weaker and we hold above this structure, especially above this zone that I marked here, right? You can see, look at all this buying that was coming into here earlier. We dipped under it. Now look at the size of the buying as we've recaptured it. It's massive. So I would definitely, going forward today, I would watch this area around 68.20 to 68.13, which also, not only was it key stuff we were seeing on the order flow, but that also aligns with that last major swing low on both SPY and ES. So I would, going forward today, I would watch to see if structure shifts, if we now hold pullbacks above this zone, or if the breakdown continues under here. That's like a major pivotal point, because it was a major swing low on both SPY and ES, and now we're confirming it with what we're seeing on the order flow as well. All right, guys, I'm going to personally take a break. Like I said, a rule of mine, if I take 3 break evens or losses, it's time for me to take a break, refresh my eyes, come back, and kind of disconnect for a minute. So that's what I'm going to do. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Target for the upside, if we hold and shift structure here, I would at least be looking for a bounce back towards VWAP or back towards the middle of this range around 68.50. It depends. It depends on how strong buyers are, and if this is forming a long-term low here, longer term low here, now that we've kind of tested this key demand area, if we continue to hold above it or not. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys next week. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you guys tuning in to our Chart Fanatics streams here, and I'll see you guys next one. Peace. Oh, and a massive episode coming out on Chart Fanatics as well. Yep. Thanks, guys.